Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome back to Where Tigers Walk. I'm joined today with Matty, and we're going to be reviewing 2025 and how everything went. We're going to be looking at the best moments of 2025, as well as the worst moments, goal of 2025, and our favourite match of 2025. Obviously, being quite a roller coaster, Matty, in terms of how City have done. Obviously, first half of the year, all about survival, and then second half of the 2025 has all been about playoff chasing. So, what sort of has been your best moments of 2025 so far?
Yeah, it's been real contrast, hasn't it? We've come from one end of the table to the other end of the table, haven't we? It's kind of yeah, it has been a bit of a roller coaster. We're not one of those steady eddies, are we? That kind of just sit in the middle and just don't
Yeah.
do anything in terms of that. So, but I suppose the kind of best. I think currently what we're currently experiencing is probably the best. One of the better moments or the best moments of the season. And this current run that we're on obviously is brilliant, but I think probably just the change of style of football and the way that it's a lot more positive and there's a lot more positive atmosphere, isn't there? I don't know how you feel when going to the games and stuff, but I always feel a lot more positive going to the games. And even if we don't quite get it right, it's not doom and gloom like I think it probably would have been under Sellers and under Walter. We kind of, lost the game under Sellers towards the end of the season, and it was a bit more doom and gloom. So I would probably say the best moment of the season is probably the current run that we're on, and I suppose the group of players are they're very likable, aren't they? All McBurney's and
Yeah.
Giles has got himself back into the good books. You've got people like Crooks and Hughes, Lundstrom when he's been playing Slater and stuff. The players, they just we've got a bit more character in us than we've had for the beginning of the season. So yeah, I would say probably the current run that we're on. I don't know what your thoughts were about the best time of the season so far, or last season, if there was any last last season.
Yeah, no, I agree with all of that. I think when I was looking at sort of the best moments of 2025, sort of focusing on last season, I think Sunderland away to go
Yeah,
there and the smash and grab win, and it was sort of unexpected. It was on Sky, and they were fighting for to go up, and obviously in the end, Sunderland are now flying in the Premier League. But for us that day, it was really really good win, and we sort of stuck in, and in the end, it was viable 3 points. And then I suppose the surviving on the final day, just that
yeah,
relief and the euphoria in the away end at Portsmouth was also sort of a memorable moment. Obviously, everything that happened before that was sort of a nightmare of the season, really. But it was a good end to a horrific sort of time. And then I suppose, obviously, as you say, looking into this season, the performances are a lot better. The players like Giles, who have just this time 12 months ago, he was looking on his way out, and now he's one of the
yeah,
mainstays in the team. And just with how we play as well, I think back to the Sunderland friendly in the summer and how positively we played, and it was one of the best friendlies I think I've. Whilst it's only a friendly, it was one of the best performances I've seen City playing one, and how
mm,
much better things looked, especially going forward. And then that sort of carried on into this year in terms of some of the goal fests we've had. So obviously at Oxford, the last minute winner, and winning at Birmingham, Portsmouth 3-2s as well, and even Millwall scoring 3 goals. There's been quite a lot to choose from, sort of in the second half of the season. So I'd probably go with probably either the Birmingham or sort of the Millwall game to go away to those places, quite
yeah,
intimidating atmospheres. And as you say, the character in the team now, we can sort of handle a game like that. Same as Stoke, we can sort of handle games like that where we can take in sort of the atmosphere and what they're trying to do, and still come out on top and be able to play our way and get the result in how we want to play. Whereas last season it would have been very much about hanging on in there. Can we nick a goal? Can we keep a clean sheet and sort of maybe get a result? But yeah, I'd sort of say from my perspective, one of those sort of goal fests we've had in the second half of the season. It's a lot more entertaining than it was this time last year. So
the
yeah,
the
and
the pop the Pompey game is a bit like a bit of sweet in it, I think, for me, because it's just like it was a great atmosphere for one, and then it was just, but because there was so much riding on it, it was uncomfortable at times to actually watch. And then
Yeah,
I suppose knowing that Luton were getting stuff was actually meant that it was a lot easier and a lot better. But there was only that opportunity for one opportunity here. So I suppose, reflecting on the best moments, looking at the worst moments in terms of that would be up there. And I think probably me, for one of the worst moments, would be, I think, probably the Derby game at home where we lost 1-0 so late on.
yeah,
I think Carlton Morris scored, didn't he, from a free kick, and I think at that point we kind of knew we were in deep trouble, weren't we? Really, I think we were kind of a little bit casual, thinking we'd be all right. But that game certainly, for me, kind of highlighted the weaknesses in Sellers, in terms of he was quite happy to kind of settle for a point. I think he made the changes in the 90th minute, didn't we? After we went behind, I think at 85th minute, 86th minute, we went behind. And I think that kind of highlighted for me that he probably wasn't the right manager going forward, in terms of, he wasn't the positive influence that we wanted. He wasn't a positive manager in terms, he weren't going to make changes to go more attacking. He was quite happy to kind of hold on and kind of see the game out. It was a nothing game as it was. So that would probably be up there, one of the worst moments, I suppose, for me. Again, I don't know what you've kind of thoughts are on that.
yeah. The first thing I wrote down was Derby at home last season. I remember, I think Luton had won at lunchtime, and all we had to do was wait. It's easier said than done, but all we had to do was win and would be safe going into the last day. And it was sort of a very scrappy 0-0 game, sort of quite dull. And then they scored towards the end, and I think it was at the 85th minute. And I just remember after the game standing there thinking, we are in serious trouble now, and we could be in League One. Next time we step into the MKM, we could be a League One club. And seeing the Derby fans all celebrating because they'd stayed up, and then you've got across to the left, you've got all the North Stand, having a go at the City players and staff, and they didn't end up coming out for the minutes applause or the lap of applause around the pitch, and it had just got to such a toxic point. And especially even that last month of the season after the last international break, because before that we'd been picking up some good results. We beat Plymouth Oxford, we drew at West Brom, and then after that our performances just seemed to dip right after the international break, and we were sort of really hanging on in a lot of games. And I'd probably have that as a standout moment, but I'd also suppose say when we got that transfer restriction in the summer, and it was sort of starting to look even worse at one point, but luckily we've sort of worked our way around that, and now we're looking like we're going to be, well, we should hopefully be safe now for this season, but we're looking like we could potentially push for promotion if we're lucky enough. So yeah, and just in terms of sort of your standout goal, is there anything that sort of stands out to you, or is there multiple ones for this?
I think there is quite a few of this, and I won't take too much of our funders between us. But I think if I maybe suggest one, and then we'll kind of bounce it off each other in terms of that. But I think probably one of the, like you say, we're just talking about some of those away performances last year. I think away from home we seemed to be really good and kind of soak up pressure and hit teams on the counter. At home was obviously awful. So for me, one of the highlights goals of the season was that Charlie Hughes header. And I suppose against Sheffield Wednesday, I suppose just the context of where we were in terms of we needed a win. It wasn't a bit of a nothing game. Probably lucky. No, I don't know. Probably deserved to be in the game, but to then come up with such a towering header, and for the fact that he went in from, I think it's the furthest header out I've ever seen. I think I've ever seen from near the edge of the area, and for it to sail in the top corner. But I think it was just the whole context around it. We probably thought we were going to hold on for a 0-0, and probably looking like, oh, point would be decent, but actually probably those 3 points were pivotal towards the end of the season, and to kind of crown it off with that goal from, arguably one of our better players last season up there. So yeah, I would go for Hughes as for one of them, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think I remember Gellert scoring quite a good goal against QPR. It was sort of in January, I think, that volley he scored. And I think some of the other ones I thought of, I think one of the home goals against Southampton this season, where it was Coyle's ball across, McBurney's header into Lundstrom. That was a brilliant goal. And sort of more recency bias, but all the goals at Millwall, all coming from sort of crosses into the box. Joseph putting the first two away, McBurney's header, just in terms of the quality of the crosses and the positioning of the strikers. And there's I suppose as well the third one against Portsmouth, Hughes ball across to Gellart, who then chipped it over the keeper. There's quite a few which sort of could be put in.
There's the Leicester game as well, wasn't there? You know, the Gellart goal there again, just a move for that, and then Destam the other week as well. The first goal that he scored at home, where we kind of played it out, Coyle crossed it in again. I just some of the football that we've played this season is, you know, some of the goals have been outstanding, haven't they? They've been it's been an absolute pleasure to kind of actually go to a game and kind of watch it and just see how, you know, see how well we're combining, I suppose, in the wing players. And it's great now, isn't it, supposed to have Bellumi and Miller back that can provide those crosses. And like you say, we have scored a lot of goals, haven't we, from kind of that Giles McBurney combination, which has been great. So it's great to kind of have that back and have Giles firing on that left hand side. And seems to have linked up a good partnership with Miller as well, only in a couple of games that we've played. So long may it continue, and we get plenty of goals down that side. So in terms of that. What about favourite game then, Elliot? What would be your favourite match so far this year?
I would probably stick Sunderland away from last season up there for a contender for last season, just with how we went about it and the atmosphere in the away end after the game. Obviously, Portsmouth away being up there as well, just for the survival purposes. But looking more into this season, I would maybe side again with sort of Birmingham or Millwall away, just with how we went and dealt with those atmospheres and the conditions, and being able to still play our own way and outscore two teams that were fancying themselves this season, especially sort of Millwall, who were above us at the time, and they're still in the top six. Probably say one of them. Also, another one that came to mind was Leicester at home, especially that first half. We were just really good to watch, and it's been so much better. It's sort of night and day compared to what we was watching last season, where there was a lot of, especially at home, performances which were just sort of not up to the standard to get enough wins. But this year we've already surpassed last season's home wins by I think 2 now. So,
but the only one
for you?
Yeah, I think the only one I'd throw into that, it was probably this time. Well, last year was obviously the Leeds game, wasn't it? You know, that was just into the new year, wasn't it? So I know Leeds fans will harp on that we didn't win and stuff like that, but I think just the nature of probably the quality of Leeds that day. Quality of Leeds last season, to be honest. You know, them and Burnley were two outstanding teams in the league, and for us to go 1-0 up and then to go 3-1 down, and at that point you thought, you know, they did score a couple of really excellent goals, and you knew the quality was there. But I suppose just to come back into that game and for Kamara to score as well, kind of, you know, helped that the late equaliser and the atmosphere around it. Yeah, we didn't win, and you know, I don't think that didn't really matter because the atmosphere was still there, and it was nice to see. There's only a few times I've ever seen, you know, in the last few years where I've seen the MKM absolutely rocking, and that definitely was one in terms of that. So the atmosphere was great before the game. Yeah, we went down behind, but as soon as Pedro, wasn't it, that scored that one off the crossbar. Since Pedro scored, I think we kind of knew we were going to get back into it. Well, we kind of got behind the team and we got back into it, and it was great atmosphere, great game, entertaining game. We came away with a point, so we've got to be happy with that. So that would probably be up there with some of those ones that you mentioned as well. So all good.
Yeah, and just another one from last season that came to mind: Sheffield United, the 3-0 win at Bramall Lane.
Oh, of course,
quite a while ago, that one now, to be fair.
forgot about it.
Just how we sort of I couldn't believe what I was watching when we went 3-0 up, when they were, you know, fighting for promotion and we're sort of struggling. And I was thinking, if we can before the game, I was thinking if we can get a point from there, because it's not really been a happy hunting ground in recent years as well. But for us to go there, and there was a bit of fortune when they had that goal disallowed, I think. But for us to go there and win 3-0, and the atmosphere from the City fans and the performance they put in was brilliant as well. So, yeah, I'd probably stick that one in there as well.
Awesome work.
No, I think that covers everything for this week. So, Happy New Year, Matty. Hope you have a good year. And, we'll speak to you all in 2026.